Good morning, everyone. Jonathan Edelheit, founder of Global Healthcare Resources and also president and founder of Global Healthcare Ventures. I've got AJ, Chief Operating Officer of Emerging Traffic, on with me today, and we're really excited to share with you and really talk about Market Disruptive Venture Pitch, which we're launching this year. That's going to be October 2nd. At the LA Live, the convention center in LA, as part of the Employer Healthcare and Benefits Congress and also the World Medical Tourism and Global Healthcare Congress. AJ, maybe a little hello and background on yourself, and then I'll kind of jump into everything.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Jonathan, and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me today. Excited to participate in the upcoming pitch event and the educational workshops that we have in partnership with the conference coming up in October in Los Angeles. I live here in Florida. We have hurricane fever here, tracking Hurricane Irma, and so excited. Thanks for everyone who joined us today. I have many different hats, probably why my wife says I don't have much hair on top of my head, but I help primarily in all different types of things around venture building, whether it's serving as a catalyst or conduit, connecting early stage companies to private equity and more mature venture capital investment, and doing things in Florida and across the state to help bring and build the infrastructure for capital formation across the different stakeholders and sponsors in the market.
Great, thanks, AJ. AJ's been great to work with. We partnered with Emerging Traffic on the launch of this event, and to really talk about the background of the event and why we're launching it this year is, our organization has been around for over 10 years, and we have helped launch a lot of companies. We've watched a lot of companies succeed in this space, but we've also watched a lot of companies fail in this space. We've watched companies come to our conference, whether it was like just 4 years ago. They met one big national employer or health insurance company. It was two guys with an idea. And fast forward today, they've raised $50 million. They're like a $500 million company. So we've seen a lot of just amazing success stories around our conference. And we've gotten a lot of feedback from people that says, why don't you guys should be taking that lead in helping, organizations look at how can they raise money, how can they meet venture capitalists or private equity groups, like or how do you take a successful company and pivot and change. And so we realized, with all the relationships and all of the knowledge that we have, that this is something that we can really do and provide a big value to the industry. And we also launched Global Healthcare Ventures last year as a way to really help scale companies and grow them in the space. And we've been putting together an advisory board of the who's who from big national employers, health insurance companies, healthcare groups. And I think we're going to be doing some very exciting things, going forward post-conference with Global Healthcare Ventures. So, really the purpose of what we're trying to do this year at this event is have several workshops that first, will help teach startup and early and mid-stage companies, like, how do you go out and do fundraising? What are investors thinking? And then from there is how do you actually, outside of that, from raising money, how do you pivot? How do you change? How do you adapt as a company? And then that's going to lead into, right after those two workshops, our venture pitch contest. So before we move into the venture pitch side, I just wanted to throw out AJ. AJ, maybe you could tell a little bit about the two workshops we're hosting this year.
Yep, absolutely. So we have two educational workshops before the pitch event, and they're led by Dr. David Metcalf, who is a thought leader and innovator professor out of University of Central Florida. He runs the Mixed Emerging Technology Integration Lab, which is part of the Institute of Simulation Training at UCF. And then also Blair Martin, who is the executive director for the Florida Angel Nexus, which is a nonprofit group that helps connect early stage companies to private equity investors, provides coaching, mentoring, and other types of programs that give early stage companies the best opportunity when they do meet with companies and investors looking to secure funds. And so the two programs are really designed in providing, drawing from their just decades of experience in working with early stage companies. Dr. Metcalf started and has spun off several different companies and had some exits and is very successful from an entrepreneurial domain, but also just has done lots of investments in early stage companies. and really offers a unique perspective of both academia and entrepreneurship, and also as an investor. And then Blair Martin, her Florida Angel Nexus that she leads, they see hundreds of companies a month apply to get in front of their network of accredited investors. And so she's got firsthand knowledge of looking at a pitch deck and understanding what the value proposition is of the company, and they're really going to draw on that in the two different programs. Both of them are really experienced in the lean startup methodology. Jonathan, which is what you were alluding to and talking about earlier, with the evidence-based leadership in terms of going out there into the market and talking to customers, talking to channel partners, and then changing direction or pivoting, based on what the feedback is, that's the market is brought back to you as companies go out and interact with potential investors or customers. So the first educational workshop is really designed to be a snapshot of the core fundamentals that all entrepreneurs and founders of companies should think about as they start to prepare to get in front of investors, both from entity formation all the way down to the types of investors that you'd want to bring in. Strategic investors that could be gateway to customers or channel partnerships, or maybe some investors that can provide some good advisory services on the back end, but let the company manage the funds and capital and execute with excellence based on where their core skills are. So there'll be several different types of areas of focus in that, but the idea is really to give early stage companies the highest probability of success when they get in front of investors, especially at the early stage as you're starting to build traction and bring in money early to build momentum to speak with other investors. The second program is really geared towards evidence-based leadership. It's really a methodology and an approach with how to interact in the marketplace so that you're always on top of what's happening in your market and really mastering the craft of making changes and changing direction based on what information that you get from your research.
What AJ? So what are the trends and like where are things at in regards to venture capital and investment in kind of health, wellness, technology, solution services? Has anything changed over the last year? Where are things headed with it?
Well, I would say just generally speaking, the answer for that is really dependent on the geographic market that an early stage company might sit, whether they're here in Florida or perhaps they're in Silicon Valley or Boston or New York or DC, or if they're an international company, based on what city that they're located in and what the ability is of that international country to be able to scale for the global market. So there's those types of pieces that are kind of on a case-by-case basis. But then there's also kind of the, what are the problems that the companies are trying to solve, and what are the solutions that they have, and are they injecting any of the disruptive or emerging technologies into their solutions, whether it's artificial intelligence, AI, perhaps it's something where it's a self-contained medical device, perhaps it's something with data privacy and protection, using blockchain or other types of latest cloud technology. So generally, there's a lot of opportunity in the marketplace for early stage investment, both from private equity or even some of the more mature venture capital groups. We've also seen a lot of federal and state laws, state by state and across our country in the U.S. That are supporting entrepreneurship, whether it's tax credits for research and development, or other types of federal or state grants to help commercialize research, both at academic institutions or those types of early stage companies that partner with institutions like hospitals or other types of groups.
Got it. And do you think there's more competition for venture capital? Is it harder to raise money now than before, or is it easy? And is that gonna, you keep hearing about bubbles and stuff like that. Is, if people are looking at timing for raising money, is it now? Is it in 2018? Is it going to dry up? Where is that headed?
Well, just like in other sectors or markets, in the global marketplace, we are in a global economy, and so I do think it's a very competitive marketplace. And also if your solution, has some disruptive innovation, there's certain markets, like I was saying earlier, AI and other types of areas where there is some large amounts of investment being taken place. I've seen increased investment in private equity and venture capital over the last 18 months, and I think that's a trend that will continue to increase. But it is a very competitive marketplace, so you have to be. That's why the educational workshops that we talked about earlier are just really critical. Whether it's something that you would get at the conference, like we have put together, or if there's other types of just lifelong learning that an entrepreneur can engage in. Staying razor sharp and on top of your game is just really critical, because in some cases, you do have a few opportunities to get in front of investors. You just want to make maximize that opportunity. Generally the first third of money that you raise is the toughest, and then the second third goes a little bit quicker, and that last third for initial friends and family or initial Series A round goes the fastest. So a lot of it is building traction and momentum, and just making sure that you really are demonstrating the right story for your company. I've seen groups that we've worked with that have an amazing opportunity in the market, and really good strong financials, good barriers to entry, and potential nice return for investors and founders. But maybe they're only asking for $250,000 or $300,000 in capital. So you just have to make sure that your story is consistent and makes sense for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm. So market disrupt, our venture pitch this year. What should people expect? For people who are here, who are listening to us on our webcast, about maybe they're thinking about applying, maybe they have applied, or maybe they're looking at just wanting to attending and watch it. What does that look and feel going to be like? Are they going to think they're on the Shark Tank on TV?
Yeah, well, first, I think having the event at this upcoming conference is just really powerful. It's going to have up to 2,000 participants. You'll have different senior level executives and other decision makers and thought leaders, both in the healthcare domain, employers, other groups that are involved in the benefit programs. So that's just a really good cross-section of potential customers or partners or investors that people who attend the pitch event and the educational workshops will get the opportunity to have access to get in front of. The winner of the finalists for the event will be discussed and announced after I believe the end of the opening keynote for the conference. So it's just a really good opportunity to get your brand and your solution in front of everyone that's attending the event. The judges that we have are really first class, and they offer a wide variety of just experience. Dr. Max Hooper, who's with Merging Traffic as managing director, has 5 PhDs, 5 doctorates, and just brings just a wealth of experience. He's been involved in investment banking for, I believe, over 40 years, and has had some really successful exits, and just has seen pretty much any type of deal out there he's seen. So to be able to get some feedback from someone like Max and draw from his expertise is really powerful. Dr. Vicky Rabineau, who's a OBGYN MD, who is from Jerusalem and also lives in Tampa, she's had some successful exits in her career, so she brings some of that medical expertise and just knowledge of the health piece and the international component of going from into the global market. So, and Mike O'Donnell, who works at the University of Central Florida Business School and in charge of the Business Venture Accelerator program. Just all these different types of judges are really going to be able just to have access to present your company, and to get feedback from them is just really, really powerful. So I just think just some of the...
AJ, is we have some secret judges, which we're going to be announcing, I think, maybe this week or next week, and those are going to be some employers, so the people who are the director of benefits, or director of health or wellness for some of the largest national employers. We're probably going to have about 2 to 3 of them on stage too. So you're actually, if you're working with employers or your tech company or solution, you're going to be presenting in front of judges who know, is this innovative? Would this work for me? And actually getting feedback from them right on the spot. And I think that's going to be pretty powerful. And I think that is also one of the very unique things we're doing with our market, market disrupt. That when we were planning this, was we don't want this to be like any other event that's out there. We want it to be a diverse group of judges who could scale a company, because you could go and it would be great to get someone who wants to invest in your company. What if you don't need somebody to invest in your company? What if it's actually an employer who's adopting and paying for your technology or solution, which is the equivalent of venture capital? Now your valuation of your company went up significantly. Maybe you don't need money, or now you're in a better position to go out and raise money.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, Jonathan. Just by applying to the pitch event, whether you're selected as a finalist or not, you get access to have your company get into the Florida Angel Nexus ecosystem, to get some coaching and mentoring, and then also when you're ready, get your message in front of private equity investors. We will debrief the judges that are on the site, and then also the secret judges that we'll be announcing as we get closer to the event. All of the judges will have access to review all of the applications, and so even if you don't need investment capital right now, getting the opportunity to have your company reviewed by the people that Jonathan mentioned is just really impactful. Because in some cases, some of those thought leaders could serve potentially in the future as advisors or introductions for channel partners or even customers.
Mm-hmm. So it's really easy to apply. Just go to the conference website. You'll see a link up there for startup competition at the bottom of the page. On your desktop and mobile, I think you'll have to go to the main menu, and then there's an application process you fill out. And the type of companies that should apply, is anyone doing anything innovative and disruptive. You could be a corporate wellness company. It could have to do with healthcare reform, self-funded health insurance plans, anything with healthcare, health insurance, hospital, employee benefits, medical tourism, global healthcare. It could be telemedicine, mHealth. It could be disease specific. We're seeing a lot of disruption out in that space. It could be somebody doing things with blockchain in healthcare, which is really taking off. Really anything with HIT, anything within that healthcare and health insurance realm and wellness. It's a simple application process. AJ, maybe you can share with everyone the timeline of when they apply, when they should hear back, from us, and then how people will be picked.
Sure. The application, again, just go to the website. It's a 1 to 1.5 page form. Just asks for some basic information about yourself and the purpose and passion of your company, and also kind of just some of the key pieces that you would think investors would need to know to learn more about your company. September. The applications are available up until September, let me just verify, through September 15th, which is in about 10 days, well, 10 days. And then literally the judges and other types of partners who will look at all the applications will, we're reviewing them as they come in. And then also over that weekend, we'll be making announcements of the selected finalists on September 18th.
Mm-hmm. So, we're really excited because after this year, this is a big movement that we're going to have. So after this year, we're going to really be rebranding the conference. It's going to be very focused on VIP, C-suite attendees. We do have VIP and C-suite attendees now, but it's going to be laser focused on that. And it's going to have a huge focus going forward on disruption and innovation, meaning that the speakers at our conference that we're going to be bringing in, they're only going to be allowed to speak about what they're doing disruptive and innovative in that industry and sector that we're in. We're going to be inviting a lot more venture capitalists and private equity groups to speak, to participate, to be involved in the Shark Tank. So this is exciting for us because after 10 years of doing this event and running this organization, and the organization was founded because we weren't seeing as much innovation or disruption back in 2007, and we said we have to make it. So we're really excited to have everyone, participate. If you have any questions about applying for it or just any questions in general, if you think you've got a cutting edge concept but you just can't make it to the conference, reach out to us because there's still opportunities, for you to work with AJ and us in our organization. And look forward to seeing everyone in LA in a few weeks.
That sounds great, Jonathan. Thanks again for having me today. And that is that last point. We've had some applicants that did have a travel conflict on that specific date, but I believe they did apply, and just for that, to get them to have the opportunity to get in front of the judges and other types of people that you mentioned, it's just really powerful.
Great, thanks AJ. Everyone have a great week.
Thank you.
Take care.